Yeah, go down here, I think. Welcome back to today's video. Today we're still in the Ravenscar area looking for an old alum mine and a radar station, so come with us. Just be careful at adders. Be careful, there's adders, it says. Alum was used as a fixative. It's a binder in dyeing and it fixes dye to cotton and other fabrics, rendering the dye insoluble. I'm not sure what buildings are what here. The process of creating alum involved mixing leachate with aged human urine to provide ammonia and roasted kelp for potassium. Massive amounts of urine were needed, and public urinals were specifically established in Hull for alum production. It was said that barrels of urine came from as far away as Newcastle by boat and were hauled up the cliff by a tramway. Looks like some kind of window, doesn't it, and a door there. It is estimated that 200 tonnes of urine was used per year at the height of the alum industry. I bet it smelt lovely in summer up there. The site here is one of the best preserved remnants of this once important industry. Looks so safe, doesn't it? Around the mid-19th century, when synthetic alum became available and the aniline dyes were invented, the binder was no longer required. The last alum works in the region closed in 1871. These look like some kind of troughs. Apparently they used to use a lot of human urine here. So we'll have to overdub it to how it's constructed. But they look like they join the site up, these troughs. This Peak Alum Works is one of the best preserved sites apparently in the UK. There's quite a lot of it left. The house in the distance was the old manager's office, and it now belongs to the National Trust. We think it's a self-catering cottage. It's quite an interesting site. Again, troughs. So they all must have run into this. So that's the question, who's been stood here, who worked here? I bet the smell was unbelievable, a bit of human urine. These look like windowsills, don't they? It's quite a huge place. There's still a lot of it about. If you do come, just be careful because there is adders apparently this time of year. So you don't want to be getting caught with one of them, do we? But I could bet it would be quite not a nice place to work in winter without rain and wind, especially coming straight off coast. Right in distance, right facing that way is Robin Hood's Bay, which is the start or the end of the coast to coast, whichever way you do it. If you come from Cumbria, it's the end. If you start it in Yorkshire, obviously it's the start. What else we can find. What we're looking at here is part of incline railway. So there'd have been two wheels, one on one side and one on another, and then it would have been a big wheel in this wheel pit, which would have then hauled wagons up from the coast, which we believe had urine in. Was it urine?
They brought, per year they brought in 3,500 tonnes of coal from Durham.
Yeah.
400 tonnes of kelp, 200 tonnes of urine collected from the ports of Newcastle, Hull and London, lead, timber and iron, and then when it went out it moved up to 600 tonnes of alum across Britain and Europe.
Right. So basically how it would have worked is that you've got a wheel in that pit in front of me and a wheel there, and then you've got the big wheel pit here. So loaded wagons would have gone down and it would have brought the other load up. Does it say it had an engine house?
It says, in front of you are the remains of the winding engine which hauled wagons up the steep cliff to the Alum house.
Right. The Alum House complex was situated below the former manager's house, so the manager had a clear view of the site. The house is now a National Trust holiday cottage. You can just about make out through it grass the hole for the chimney that would have been here, and that's where it was propped up with an acro. Quite a big site, isn't it? I didn't realise there was so much of it here. It doesn't really say a lot on the internet about it, on some of the pictures.
Well, that's your expectation, absolutely.
Bentrig Radar Station is also known as the Royal Air Force Ravenscar, and Ravenscar Tracking Station was a radar site located at Bentrig, 0.6 miles south of Ravenscar, North Yorkshire, England. Several radar stations have been located in the Ravenscar area from 1938, but by September 1939 Ravenscar had been re-equipped and was manned initially by members of the 29th Coast Observer Detachment, which was part of the 526th Durham Coast Regiment. But a more permanent site was built at Bentrig in 1941, and this was then crewed by the technicians and staff from the Royal Air Force. It was originally part of the Coastal Defence Chain Home Law system designed to detect shipping. The last recorded use of the station was in September 1944, and it is believed that the site was closed soon afterwards. Not today, no. Well, they'd have that radar, wouldn't they? So they wouldn't need it, see it. They just track it. The site was good for sighting of long-range detecting devices, as it occupied a broad visible sweep of the horizon on an elevated position. A few structures remain at the site, with the foundations of the accommodation blocks still visible near the abandoned railway line to the west. The site at Ravenscar is said to be the best example of a World War II radar station along the coastline of Yorkshire and the North East. 3 of the buildings are of concrete construction, whilst the 4th is a Nissen hut. think that just goes into that building I've just been in round there. The site is open to the public, being located next to the Cleveland Way, and the National Trust have erected information boards detailing the buildings and the history of the site. Let's go and have a look what else there is. Said that they are the remnants of the blast shutters, blast doors. The transmitter receiver room is reinforced concrete structure, and it's set further down the slope of the hill to the other three buildings. The blast doors and shutters are still attached. There was a ladder to the roof, and it was still in place in the year 2000. Well, you can just about see the blast shutters on the back wall up there, right at the back. A little bit picks it up with this camera. The fuel store is a single-storey, single-cell building with a flat concrete roof and cement rendering. Holes in the wall and brick supports on the north side indicate where a fuel tank was previously attached to the side of the building. So this is where they kept the fuel. The engine house is a single-storey, single-cell building with a flat concrete roof, reinforced concrete construction, and this supplied power to the site. These must have been like blast walls, mustn't they? The communications hut, which is the Nissen hut. Images show this to be the main radar room, with a dish attached on top of the building. The building is divided into 3 rooms and has fixtures and fittings for equipment set into the wall. As befits a Nissan hut, the roof is curved in corrugated asbestos. The Nissen hut must be a later addition, as the type of hut did not go into production until May 1942. A 5th building on the southern edge of the field is believed to have been involved with the main power supply. Archaeological surveys of the area have determined that the domestic accommodation, mess hall, offices, which numbered 10 buildings, were 200 metres to the southwest of the technical site, but these have long since been demolished. The site had a washroom, toilet facilities some 40 metres north of domestic accommodation. We hope you've enjoyed our little adventure. Please consider liking, subscribing and hitting that notification bell for future videos. Until next time, see ya.